Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates. This show is produced in association with my dear friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. My guest this evening is Frankie Celenza, an Emmy Award-winning chef, television host, and Tastemade star, best known for bringing fun, flavor, and affordability back into the kitchen. Born and raised in New York City, he studied at Kent School and NYU's Tisch School of the Arts before launching with the New York City life show Frankie Cooks, which earned him multiple New York Emmys. Today, he reaches millions as the creator of Tastemade's hit series, Struggle Meals, celebrating delicious food on a budget, a concept inspired by his college days cooking on just a few dollars. This show was massively successful for him, marking 100 episodes over 9 seasons. Frankie is also the face of shows like Frankie versus the Internet, Worth the Hype, and Frankie's Favorite Things. And in 2022, he won the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lifestyle Culinary Host. In between developing digital series, launching his cookbook, Eat, Easy, Affordable, Tasty, and championing his generation as a food ambassador, Frankie remains on a lifelong quest to make smart, joyful cooking accessible to everyone. Earlier this week, on August 25th, Frankie launched a brand new cooking series called Let Frankie Cook, streaming on Tastemade just in time for Pizza Week. In the new series, Frankie invites viewers into his home for bold recipes, clever hacks, and his signature low-stress cooking style. This marks his 4th Tastemade show. That's really cool for him. Now, Tastemade, if you don't know it for some reason, that's a global digital media company and streaming network focused on food, travel, and lifestyle content. Think of it as a modern food and travel TV channel built for the internet generation, creating original shows, recipe videos, and series that live across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, Hulu, and their own Tastemade app. It reaches hundreds of millions of views in over 200 countries. Okay, Frankie Celenza, welcome to the studio tonight. You came in person, and I love that and appreciate that so much.
It was 2 for 1. I get to see you in person. We get to talk without overlapping delays of phone, and I had a delicious pizza down the street.
Ooh, from where? Anywhere good?
Yeah, Italy.
Italy. Well, hello.
Yeah.
You went to the Mecca. What'd you get on your pie?
I literally just got the DOP margarita with buffalo mozzarella. I got,
Simple
got
elegance.
A little pepperoncino, you know.
Ooh, you're making us hungry, Ryan Pagano. What do you think of that?
It just makes me want to order a pizza now to the studio. You kidding?
We'll get this done in an hour, and I'll take you for pizza. How's that
any
sound?
drivers out there who want to deliver to the studio at this time, you're more than welcome to.
All right, Frankie, when we talk about Struggle Meals, right, that your super popular hit, when did you learn you could cook cheaper than your college meal plan? And how did you even start doing that?
Man, I was actually studying music business and production in college, and then I had to take regular courses. So I started taking Italian because I have this Italian last name, and I figured
Celenza.
Yeah, exactly. I might as well at least be able to order my food in Italian. Now, in high school, I was forced to take Latin for 3 years, and I always got the lowest passing grade. So at first I was like, this might be a terrible idea. But the difference is I wanted to learn Italian. I did not want to learn Latin. Fine. Okay, I digress. For the summers in college, my long-lost family kept inviting me. So it would be me and like 10 kids plus or minus 5 years my age. And I'm the only one that speaks English. So my Italian got really good quickly. And obviously I learned how to cook. So then I kind of brought it back to school. Schools are for profit, despite what they say.
Sure.
So it's kind of easy to undercut them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure the college meal plan is terrible, though. I never went to a proper 4-year college. I went to the Art Institute for Restaurant Management. So, there's no dorming or whatever. But I think there's an opportunity there for colleges.
I mean, my final project in the music school actually was to do meals for kids in school, interestingly enough.
And what did you put on that?
My idea was I'd have a 2-minute video because it was very early on YouTube. And then somehow like Fresh Direct would give you the ingredient. Effectively what Blue Apron is today with the thing. And I thought that would make sense.
But you can do that in a dorm setting?
Well, here in New York City, a lot of the dorms were apartment style, so they had kitchens.
That's a good point.
I mean, but does everybody have that? No, I understand.
And you do a lot with a hot plate.
Listen,
though.
that's 20 years ago. Okay, a lot's changed.
That's true. Yeah. Do you have a $5 dinner recipe that you can share? Something where it's like, if you have $5, what can I make?
$5 is a tough thing because, like, I don't know what is $5. Every year the value of the dollar goes down, and for people that don't understand. And I'm not trying to be professorial, how money works. And like people think, the stock market goes down and people lose money. Well, the stock market is like 10% on average over 150 years. And the equivalent of that would be the price of a hamburger. In 1940, it was a nickel. Yeah. And today it's $8.
That's right.
It's not hamburger getting more expensive. It's dollar getting less powerful. So can I do a $5 meal today? I could do it pre-COVID.
Okay, pre-COVID, give me a $5 meal.
Listen, I can still, come on, you can do spaghetti aglio olio for like $2 and you can feed 3 people, 4 people.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Maybe put some beans in there too for a little added protein.
Fantastic.
Like a pasta vazole.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, why do you think your hit show Struggle Meals resonated so deeply with your audience?
Because food is expensive. We're at a period where pretty much my entire generation like graduated out and had super high unemployment rate. So food's expensive. Housing's expensive. Food's expensive.
Everything's expensive.
Healthcare's expensive. I mean, those are 3 big ones. So I just think it's applicable because that's like the one thing you actually have control of.
That's a good point. Yeah. You do have control over that.
The
Not everything needs truffles and
whatever
caviar.
They say, And then the housing. Okay, you can get some roommates, but that's a fixed cost. It's not going to go down month to month.
Right. It's only going to go up.
Yeah. So I think the timing was right on that. And we did that show for 7 years.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's a great show.
Thanks.
All right, what pulled you towards cooking as a career?
I mean, I love eating. I always have. My grandfather.
It's in your blood.
Yeah.
You're Italian.
Both my mom and dad are, of 4 kids, so pretty big families, and they all cooked. And
where in Italy is your family from?
Abruzzo, Napoli.
Oh, yeah. Napoli. You ever go to Sogna Napoli on Houston Street?
It's delicious.
Okay.
It used to be Mezzaluna.
Oh, I didn't know what it was before that. That's when you were living in the city?
Yeah, it was on, Houston and McDougal-ish,
right?
Yes,
yes.
I love and then they opened one 2 blocks further east, right?
That's correct. And they have one on the Upper West Side.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That, I think they just opened last year. But they also have one in the town I live in randomly in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like,
it's really solid Naples pizza.
It is.
Yeah.
I know, I agree. And shout out to Ciro, the owner. He's so sweet.
I've not met him.
Oh, you should do something with him.
Anyway, let me finish your question.
Okay,
so everyone's eating, everyone's cooking in my family, this Italian heritage and not eating out that much and always cooking at home. And then through college, I like I said, I was going to Italy. I was bringing these dishes back to my American friends that just left home for the first time in their, college life, their period of life. So I'm cooking for them. I don't think they saw anyone their age ever cooking. And most American families, if you're not of Italian heritage and a few select others, you just kind of eat the standard American diet, which ironically, as an acronym, is sad. It's standard American diet. They need to change that. Mm-hmm. So, here I am studying to effectively be a rock star, and I realize everyone wants to be a rock star. And if I go do the culinary thing, I can still teach, I can still perform, and there's way less competition for my age. That's the unsexy part of it, but it was sort of calculated.
No, but hey, it worked out for you, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I'm 16 years into it.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
your whole journey. It's been really cool to watch.
It never stops, though. Only the paranoid survive, let me tell you.
That's true.
Yeah, the goalpost keeps moving. That's for sure.
We're going to talk about that more in the second part, because I do want to talk about like chef's block and like how you continue to stay creative with your recipes and what you're doing. But do you have a personal food philosophy?
I mean, probably the best food you can shop for equals how good your dinner will be, despite your technique and how much of a watchful eye you have in pots and pans that you bought, etc. Yeah.
All right. When Tastemade approached you, what was going through your head?
Well, early on, they were just signing people up on YouTube.
Right.
Effectively, they had someone go out and look for all the young people on YouTube so they could turn ads on, because it was before you could do it yourself. So it was almost like they were a record company for culinary young people on YouTube. And so for the first 3 years, my relationship was I got a very small check from YouTube through them every month, like $3. And then one day they called up and they were like, hey, we've got this series. We think you'd be great for it. It's 9 days long. It's in Chicago. This was 2015. So literally coming up on 10 years in like 2 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And at the same time, I was like working with agents and lawyers and trying to go the traditional television route. And they were just moving so slowly. And like Tastemade flew me to Chicago. We shot for like 8 days. I got paid before the contract even came. And like 6 months in traditional television, like they just can't get it together. I just keep getting billed hourly by the lawyer. And I was like, maybe I should go with these new people. Because it's like happening. It's none of this lip service stuff.
That's right.
So that's it. Then that show actually never aired because
Wait, what was going to be the name of it?
Well, it was sponsored by a high-end beverage company.
Okay.
And we did these beautiful 10-minute episodes around it. And I went to all these farms in Illinois and like cooked literally, I milked a cow and like made cheese, and then I would like, serve it at the end, all out in these farms. It was so beautiful.
That actually sounds really
nice.
It
was. But the beverage company wanted like 30-second commercials. So it didn't work out. And it was early in Tastemade's time too. So I got an email like 4 months later being like, hey, this isn't going to come out. We promise it's not you. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Here we go
They're
again.
letting me down easy.
Right. They ended up cutting it and cutting the brand completely out of it and just putting it out anyway. It was called Savor Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was fun.
Maybe we could bring that
I was having a
back
panic
somehow.
attack every morning, though.
Why?
At that point, I'm 7 years into it, but I'd only ever like done it in my apartment with like my brother doing sound, my cousin, doing media, and my friend Aresti on camera. And now here I am out there getting paid real money with 10 people I don't know. And
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I have to say these branded lines. And I had this Italian director whom I love very much, but he's like, one more time, Frankie. One more time for safety. One more. And I'm like, on like the 60th time, my brain is like, I'm getting worse and worse at it.
Right.
I'm losing all my inflection.
Brian does the same thing to me here, by the way.
Every morning in the shower, I'm like, you're a sellout. You're not going to make it. You can't do this. You can't handle the pressure.
You got to cancel the noise in your head.
I can't imagine what it's like to be like an actual celebrity because I'm like D or E list. Because the pressures of my small little world, I'm over most of them now. But it's hard, man. It's all hard. Nothing's
Yeah, but
easy.
you know what? At least when you were doing that and it was like a pre-recorded show, like you can edit it and do those different takes.
It came out great.
I always think about like, what are those people like a Ryan Seacrest, someone who's live on air? Like, that's so much pressure. And they never hiccup.
But he's comfortable now, just like you are in your show. You've had a ton of practice.
Believe me, I'm no Ryan Seacrest.
The first time you said roll on this show, your heart was beating harder than it was just now.
No, I was like, is someone going to teach me how to do this? Like, I was sitting in this chair looking out there. I'm like, who's going to teach me? And they were like, 3, 2, 1. And I was, oh my God. Okay, here we go.
But you weren't today.
That wasn't me,
point.
by the way, Christina.
That wasn't you. All right. I think we should talk about something that's really prevalent right now, which is the evolution of food content in social media. Yeah. It's everywhere.
I'm trying not to partake too much. I find that I'll put something out. It gets copied by a bunch of people. Sometimes they're younger than me and they get 400 times the views. And I'm just like, I don't care because I understand that like I'm not reinventing the wheel either, and we're all regurgitating.
But you are like one of the forefathers of it. Absolutely,
maybe of the millennial generation. But here's what I have found in my 16 years, which is not that much, but it's been a fast-moving 16 years. Because when I started this, I was like, new media will take over in 6 months, and I'm going to be, and it still hasn't taken over, by the way. What I have found is every 5 years or so, 90% of the people in this field give up because they're not able to pivot. And 10% move on. I think we're at that inflection point with social right now. Really exploded in 2020 with the COVID thing. And I'm seeing so many creators right now in 2025 like complaining to their fans as if A, their fans care, or B, understand. They're like, I'm working so much and my views are down 90%. And it's like, all right, are you going to be able to pivot, or are you going to be the 90% that was out 5 years ago? Because it's happening right now.
That's a great point. And
So,
it's an oversaturated market.
Yeah. Again, when I started this, I literally didn't see anyone my age doing it, period. Now there's 1 million people.
Yeah.
So do I need to add to that slush bucket
you're doing
right
your
now?
own thing.
Well, I'd rather be in the areas where there's less competition. A radio show with you. Long-form television. If the TikTokers, and no offense to them, and I know 10% of them will have great careers, but 90 will move on.
Yes.
If they can move from a 30-second video to 45 minutes, that takes a lot of skill.
Absolutely,
They need to be able to talk for like more than just editing
and
themselves.
keep people engaged.
Yeah, and you're going to repeat yourself a lot. I do. So anyway.
I doubt that.
So listen, so it can be great, and it is so addictive. And they get me. And I was just saying to my wife yesterday, I was like, man, Instagram is so smart. They pay nothing. It's user-generated content, and they're just making gazillions of dollars. At, like, literally our expense as the viewer and our expense as the creator. I'm pretty anti-social right now. Sorry, everyone.
Are you?
Yeah.
But you do have a handle.
I do, but
you don't post a lot.
How many recipe videos have I made in like the last 4 months? I don't think it's even 2.
No, I don't think it is either. I mean, I did go down a rabbit hole of you last night on your social and did find them very entertaining, though.
I try.
You have a good presence. That's why.
The pressure of having to do this gotcha thing for every video and make that happen in the first 3 seconds, I don't want that.
It's not for you.
It's like the 100-meter dash. I'd rather run the marathon. That's it. That's how I feel.
I like that. Okay, Emmy Award-winning host. Whoa.
Yeah, that was cool.
Tell me about that.
Not to toot my horn, but actually
Toot
have
it.
4.
I know.
3 are New York Emmys, regional. When I had the first start, and then on YouTube, and then a lot of people started coming to it, and I went to NYC Life here in the city. And there was this one show called Bronx Flavor that was like trippy and really cool, and I would just leave it on NYC Life. And at 2 a.m, I'd wake up and I'd see Baron Ambrosia in his purple, like, Lincoln Continental with freaking hydraulics, and he'd like pull up to some spot in the Bronx and like have a crazy oxtail thing while like wearing a purple suit and like a neon cane. And I was like, this is the kind of food content I'm digging. So I was watching him, and then one day he posted that he had won an Emmy, and he's in Times Square. And I'm like, the Emmys aren't in Times Square. So I like dug deeper. I was like, oh, there's regional Emmys. And
Yeah, I actually didn't know that either.
And it's all for newscasters, which is really interesting. So the categories that we existed in the culinary space had little competition. I'm downplaying what it is because you still need to make a show and people still need to vote for you. But I was just like, what I found after winning the first one in 2013 was phone calls of, I can't take a meeting turned into you can have a meeting. And like it's just a PR thing. So it was like a little step up. And also at that point I was 5 years in and I was like, when is this going to work? And I was like looking at dental school and I was like, that's going to put me seriously in debt. I was like, having $0 is better than having negative hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then the Emmy nomination came and I was like, and then I looked up people I admired in all fields and I was like, oh, all of them take like 8 to 13 years before you even know who they are. I'm at 5. And that's when it occurred to me a year isn't even that long. Can you tell the caffeine has kicked in?
It's kicked in, but thank God. I mean, you're great. But I'm a little taken aback that you're so in your head so much. Like you've doubted yourself so much through your career.
Unfortunately, this is an artistic endeavor. And we live in a society that doesn't have any tolerance for late bills. That's it.
You're certainly making your way in the field now, okay? Let's head to our first commercial break. Stay tuned. There's more with Frankie Celenza when we return, and we're going to talk behind-the-scenes stories from his new show, Let Frankie Cook, when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back to the show. I'm joined tonight by Emmy Award-winning chef and Tastemade fan favorite, Frankie Celenza. He just launched his 4th show with the platform called Let Frankie Cook. Frankie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
Okay, we were just talking about your regional Emmys, okay? But that really can't hold a candle to your national Emmy.
Yeah, that happened in 22 for Outstanding Culinary Host, which...
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's an honor. I'm the first, small name on that list if you look on Wikipedia. I mean, it's literally Martha Stewart, Jacques Pepin, Julia Child,
Frankie Celenza,
Bobby Flay, Giada, Ina. Yeah.
All right, so what do you think makes a good culinary host?
I think you have to explain the why, how, because... I think just hosting in general, it's a dance between trying to be funny without trying too hard, being authentic without talking down to people, showing them that you make mistakes as well, which I do in my new show. I don't know what the secret sauce is. It's a lot
just
of things.
Trying to connect with people.
Yeah.
That sometimes you can't connect with,
It's... yeah.
Well, you do it well. All right, let's talk about Let Frankie Cook.
Okay.
How exciting is this?
It's exciting.
Just launched this week, August 25th.
Yeah. First hour-long show I've ever had.
Did you find that harder?
We actually shot it for half an hour and then said, it has nice breath and there's so much information we could stretch it out. Yeah.
I like that term, nice breath.
I just made that up.
Oh, good. What makes this show different from past projects outside of it's just a longer show?
Well, why don't we just talk from Struggle Meals, which we did for a long time, and I've had some other stuff with Tastemade that were not directly stand and stir shows. If you just look at the timeline of my life, and I hope my audience as well, a lot's happened in 7-8 years. I hope that people have been able to lift themselves out of having to use the word struggle, that they are in a little more of a, I don't want to say spendy position, but that they can be, a little more exciting with what they're making. So I'm trying to step out of the struggle thing, but still be approachable and fun. And it's not meant to be super high end, but it is more high end than Struggle Meals for sure. I think it's going to hit a nice wide target.
Who is the target?
Literally,
anyone who's not cooking on a budget?
Well, if Struggle Meals were people in school or just out of school, this is probably people that have been out of school for a while, maybe on their second job or just starting a family, let's say.
Okay. Do you need to have a little bit of cooking skills in your arsenal?
I mean... Is
it for the average cooker?
It can be, because I really try to... I always like to use Pixar and Disney movies as an example.
Okay.
They strike a beautiful chord of a kid can sit there at 5 years old and be entertained the whole time, but so can their parents.
That's fantastic.
So I want to give as much information to the people that have never lifted a pan without making those that know what they're, further along in their culinary path feel that, I already know that. So it's, got to give the information of, the basic stuff quickly for the person that doesn't know anything at all. And then also something that the seasoned people maybe haven't heard.
Ooh, yeah. I like it. Is it hard to come up with these endless recipes? I think about this all the time. Even if I'm watching something, I don't know, on the Food Network or whatever. I'm how do they just continue to feel creative in producing these things? Because I feel like I have chef's block, if you will, even in my own personal culinary house. I'm cook the same stuff every week.
Well, so now we're talking about behind the scenes of how one of these shows is made. And it's the same for content creators. I mean, you should have pre-production. So the first thing we did was sort of lay out the shows. And then we started spitballing some ideas. So I would throw them in originally, okay, for pasta we should do boom, 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 boom. And I worked with Linguini Pictures, which did most of Giada's shows, and also her... culinary producer, Lish Styling, who's awesome. And, she would be these are the same color or these are too similar. And so kind of having that hive mind and other people to bounce off of gets it to where it is. So I can't take full credit.
No,
they are my
village.
recipes, but it's so much better when you have 3 people really thinking about how the thing is going to live in a TV show.
Yeah.
And especially with an episode that's all on pasta or all on pizza, you could repeat yourself a lot. And that would be pretty JV. So how do you right? I mean,
we're varsity here, right?
So the premiere of the show is pizza. It could be every act of the 7 acts in an hour-long show. I could repeat myself each time, and that would be boring, and viewers would fall off. So how do you keep it moving? In that particular episode, I thought I came up with a really great idea, which is when you're making pizza at home, I think the biggest problem that everybody faces is they're holding themselves to the standard of a pizzeria, which has a much hotter oven.
Yep.
You're never going to get to that temp. So what if we made pizzas with the equipment we have that pizzerias don't make? Now we don't have to hold it to that standard. And so we ended up with a grilled pizza, a fried pizza, a grandma pizza. Oh, and like a panzerotti, which is like a little calzone.
Oh, man, this is great stuff. Have you had any set disasters while doing these shows over the years?
Struggle meals. We had some interesting stuff, like it didn't rain in LA for like 4 years, and then it rained so hard that I think like literally there were just leaks in the studio. And at one point we just had like a tarp above my set, like with a 45-degree angle so that the water would drip down into a bucket, and the whole, like the director and everybody was under a tent in the studio, which was kind of interesting.
The show must go on, right? The show must go on. All right, so you do the show out in L.A., right? But
Struggle Meals is in L.A. This new show we shot at my house.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fun. A little glimpse into the personal life of Frankie Celenza.
Well, I mean, the studio the lease was supposed to be up for Tastemade. But we were just acquired by another company. People don't care about the business stuff. It doesn't matter. So anyway, it's been extended. But doing it at my house was really fun. And the coolest part of it was that we pulled a converted horse trailer. It's been converted into a full commercial kitchen.
Wow.
Into like my front lawn. And Tastemade sent an electrician over and installed an RV plug on the side of the house. And so, yeah, I had a full second kitchen for culinary support. And
Did you have to like convince your wife to get on board with this? Like, we're going to disrupt the home life?
She was cool.
There's going to be an RV on our front lawn?
She's the hair and makeup artist, so she's working.
Stop, is she?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And when we were doing our travel show with Tastemade, which we're still doing, but it's been great. We've got to go to Hawaii, Vegas, New Mexico, Miami, Nashville, Santa Fe, San Antonio, all these places together for work. Great.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, you talk a lot about clever hacks in the kitchen. What are some that you're going to feature this season on the show?
Well, because it's a longer format show, I'm not trying to do the like quick thing that works really well on Instagram or TikTok. And those things have their place, and some of them are great, and some of them are annoying and cringy, but whatever. That's not the point.
Yeah.
A perfect example of a hack is how we dealt with the Thanksgiving episode, for example. So really wanted to focus on the sides, and I wanted to make the turkey really easy. So we spatchcocked the turkey.
What does that mean?
It means you cut the spine out and splay the whole thing open.
Like butterfly it.
Yeah, but it's still got the bones in. So
okay.
You cut to the side of the spine through the rib cage, and then you open it and break the plates. So it can cook in half the time. The distance to center is less, so knowing that it's cooked all the way through happens faster. And we dry brined it so it's seasoned throughout. It's a pretty easy cook. So getting the anxiety of the turkey off the table enabled us to focus on
because that is intimidating for people.
Exactly.
Turkey is definitely intimidating. But does it retain its moisture?
Absolutely.
Because that's a big thing why people don't like turkey. They say it's too dry. But I have to say my mom makes a great turkey.
If you have a leave-in thermometer, it's like the best way to go.
And how long when you do that technique does the turkey cook?
It's half the time. So if it's a 3-hour bird, it's going to be an hour and a half. Okay,
well, that's a great hack.
Yeah.
And what are some sides that are just super easy, you think, for large groups when you're entertaining?
For Thanksgiving specific or for anything?
It's going to be anything. But
if it's anything, I think you just keep it simple. And you want to have a bunch of different colors. Like I'm thinking about dinner tonight.
Vibrancy on the
table. We got someone coming over tonight. And I'm just like, should I roast a bunch of peppers and put some little cubes of feta cheese in there and maybe do a sweet and sour, balsamic-y sauce on it? And then, okay, that's red. And now what can I have that's green? I can do a little quick Caesar thing or maybe endive with blue cheese. And you ever do thinly sliced red onions and just put them in a bowl of water for 5 minutes and it takes all the edge off?
Yes.
Like that's just like a little thing. Now I'm just talking about little things,
I want to come
Christina.
over your house for dinner, Frankie.
Okay.
Do you feel pressure when people come over? They're like...
Yeah, I do.
Right?
Unfortunately, because I think that they're like, ooh, Frankie's cooking. And I'm just like, ugh.
Does your wife cook or are you mostly the cook?
She does not cook, but I wrote a cookbook this year and it just came out.
Eat.
And she tested all the recipes.
Ooh, that was a fun...
So I just like, here it is, make it happen. And I would just be upstairs typing. And that's how I knew if they worked or not, because she's not a cook. And some of them didn't work, and I adjusted the recipes.
Which ones didn't work?
Beef stroganoff, she had a problem with. There were too many, easy example, as I recall. We were, sauteing onions first and then taking them out and then cooking maybe the beef or maybe it was the beef first and the other way. She didn't like get that right and then like totally left the onions out. And then I was like, why do we all assume that there's one perfect way to cook each ingredient and that's the only way? Yeah. I.e., the perfect way to cook onions is to caramelize it. What about steamed onions? So then I was like, what if the beef's cooking and we just threw the onions on there and steamed them through? That has an interesting texture and flavor as well. And it makes it a little bit easier. And now I'm not scooping something out and putting it on the side and forgetting to re-add it. And so I changed that recipe, for example.
You're making us think different ways. Yeah. I like that.
So I wanted to make it easier and reduce steps. And
you're such a pioneer, Frankie.
I don't know about that.
Okay, what's your approach when you make food content for Tastemade? Like when you're doing pre-production in your head, like how does that look?
Well, I've been fortunate over 10 years to work with a bunch of awesome people, and a lot of them for long stretches. So that really builds trust and friendship and a deeper understanding of what the next person is going to say. So pre-production, I don't really think about the things I'm going to say at all. It's just, all right, let's get a great recipe. Let's get a great visual. And, as the day comes, then I'm thinking about looking at each recipe and thinking about maybe 3 things that no one – listen, we're all unique, every single one of us. So what are 3 things I can say about every recipe that Christina's not going to say? And then I'll try to figure out how to articulate that. And then on top of that, when we shoot for 12 hours, I got to figure out how to keep the energy at a 9 out of 10 the whole time. That's hard.
When you're doing one show, it's taking about 12 hours?
Oh, yeah. It's 12 hours a day on set.
Oh, my gosh.
It doesn't take me 12 hours to cook the dishes. It's just there's so many inserts and intros, and then we're doing intros for the show and intros for social. And then with this season, I adapted a bunch of the recipes for Blue Apron. So then I'm doing things for Blue Apron also, and it's a lot.
That is a long day to have to be like on, personality-wise.
Can't eat crew lunch with the crew. I can sit with them. But if I do that, because I've already had 3 meals at that point.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And the body's like, oh, okay, we're digesting now? Oh, no, we're not? We're eating more 45 minutes later? Okay. Now we're digesting? Oh, we're eating again? And then, if I have a full lunch, it's that took me 3 years to figure out. Just can't do that. Cannot have a glass of wine at the end of the night. You just need to go straight to bed. And every morning, I'd try to get up early and ride my bike for an hour.
Oh, that's great.
Regardless, just
it's
do it.
Mental clarity, too.
And it took puff out of my face, which, not to be, vain, but, it's helpful.
You're funny. All right, Frankie, let's go to our last commercial break. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back to the show. I'm joined tonight by Emmy Award-winning chef and Tastemade fan favorite, Frankie Celenza. I just like saying that. I don't know why.
Thank you. I like hearing it.
He just launched his 4th show this past week on Tastemade called Let Frankie Cook. All right, Frankie, when we talk about Let Frankie Cook, How many episodes are in that season?
The first season's 8-hour-long episodes.
8-hour-long episodes. So the first episode was about pizza, the different kinds of pizza. What else are you highlighting in the show?
Got a pasta episode.
Okay.
So all different kinds of homemade pasta.
Are you doing homemade pasta? That's so trendy right now.
And an orisotto. You ever do an orisotto? Like risotto style?
Risotto?
Yeah.
No, and I'm really not good at risotto, to be honest with you.
Orzo's less. It's a third or a quarter of the time.
Is it?
So if
but
you mess
my problem
up,
is it always sticks to the bottom of the pan.
Is more liquid.
More liquid, less heat?
You can do it full blast heat boiling the whole time, but you need to be adding liquid 7 or 8 times throughout the whole cook. It needs to like always be submerged. And then the starch that's in there, you start seeing these viscous bubbles and everything. The second you see that, like at the bottom, it's pretty dry.
Yeah.
You need to be adding water and mixing it again. You don't need to stand there and stir. That's an old wives' tale.
Even for risotto?
It's fine if you can go every 5 minutes. And if you keep it wetter than like an old school recipe tells you, then you can just reduce it down to the right.
This is what we need. We need the tips and tricks from Frankie Celenza.
So there's pasta. I did a pasta rolling machine.
Yeah.
That's the only tool I use though. So we did cavatelli with a knife.
Ooh, I love that.
Did a little ricotta gnocchi with just our hands. The orzo. We did an interesting one sort of about sports, and the idea was like how you fuel before, during, and after
sports. That's so
sports.
important.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, for the younger generation, like children. They always fuel with the wrong things. You know, they lean into things like Gatorade and just like these artificial ingredients, but putting the food in you the day before even is half the battle when doing sports endurance. So what are some things you're going to talk about on that show? Some recipes.
I raced bikes as a teenager, and so that's like my sport. So I kind of did this. We did a mountain biking scene with my friend Will, and that was really fun. And also I cooked. I did 2 U.S. Opens for the tennis player Novak Djokovic.
Wow.
So and he would have 5-6 hour matches. So I learned a lot from him too. And he's vegan and gluten free. So that made it even more challenging. How do you get all these carbohydrates in there?
Yeah.
But
or even protein.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
beans, a lot of beans.
these vegan diets, they're carb heavy, but a little short on protein, and it's really, like you said, the beans, tofus.
Well, as my mother-in-law would say, there's more grams of protein per pound in broccoli than in steak. So
is that true?
It is true.
What?
I know.
I didn't know that at all. There's more protein in broccoli than steak. Okay.
But
kids are
can
getting
your
broccoli
body can your body break it down? Like it needs to be cooked through. You know, if you're eating like raw broccoli, it's the same thing as like some lettuces. We can't break down the cell walls. You got to blanch it. You got to figure out how to extract it, but it's there.
Okay, well that's great.
I love a steak though.
I know, who doesn't? Especially if you grew up in New York.
My mother-in-law doesn't.
All right, episodes: pizza, pasta, cycling.
We did one getting the band back together.
What does that mean?
So my brother's a super talented musician, and my dad played drums, and we have like a trio, and we've played together forever. But early on, my first show ever was called Frankie Cooks.
Yes.
It's funny that this one's called Let Frankie Cook.
I know. It's like, who's not letting you cook?
And back to those regional Emmys, I had this idea also because I was in music school. I had this idea like you can't taste or smell through the screen. You can only see and hear. Yeah. I was like, no one's taking advantage of the hearing part. You only have 2 senses through the TV. So I had this idea, and it was very successful for us. Luke won 2 Emmys for musical composition. I would edit the show, and then I would bring it to him and his Juilliard friends, because they're all that good, and they would compose to the edits, and it was fantastic. And so it was very cinematic. Sometimes every time an ingredient came in, another instrument came in. You know, sometimes I'd be flambeing and horns would go crazy, and then the flame would go out and they'd all die down. Sometimes things were sizzling and the snare drum would be going. So anyway, music and food, I think, can go together, and there's a lot of improvisation.
I can't wait to watch that episode.
That happens in the kitchen and also musically. But the overall theme was when I was, I don't want to say a touring musician, but I was in a band, and that was what I thought was going to happen. I ate a lot of ramen, and I didn't know the real thing existed. It was always cup noodles and top ramen.
Get that at the gas station.
Right. So, you know, I got 20 chicken feet and 2 pounds of half chickens, and we made an awesome shoyu ramen broth, and then all these little sides, and I really elevated it, and then
wow,
it was good.
It sounds like it was a super fun season to tape for you.
Yeah, that was fun.
Especially, you know, your evolution through your career. It's really cool to see you just doing another side of, like, Struggle Meals was budget friendly. Now you're doing something more elevated. That's great.
But it's still supposed to work into your life. I think that's the idea of these lifestyle segments. Should you be toiling away in the kitchen 7 days a week? If that's all it is in the cooking show, maybe that implies that that's all it is. But I'm trying to show you that, like, hey, I do this thing with my family. Hey, I go biking with my friends. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that can be transposed to lacrosse practice, baseball practice, tennis practice, soccer practice, football practice, whatever, cross-country running. So I want people to kind of envision, when I show you the lifestyle stuff mixed with the cooking, envision your life and which episode you can overlay your life in with the biggest parallel.
What is the biggest lesson TV has taught you?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. But I really, really, really like long-form TV as a medium. I think it's great. I'm sure the audience size will change, but I'd rather have an audience sitting on a couch and giving me their time than be on the phone and having people constantly looking for the next thing while they're standing in line at Starbucks. So
You know what it is?
I think it's taught me that
engaging for
people
the
still
family.
do have an attention span.
Yes.
Yes. And it is engaging for the family.
Because
like
you can
said.
sit together and watch it, where you're not going to sit together on a phone and watch something. That's more like individual.
Right.
Something you do like, you know, you're laying in bed scrolling endlessly on the gram at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is like, we can sit down together and watch this. I watch cooking things with my kids because they have a very strong interest in food. They eat constantly. So I think I'm going to watch your show with them.
I think that'd be great. And I bet you the percentage of people that watch a long-form show versus a short-form show, the percentage that then go and make a dish is way higher.
It encourages making
Yeah.
your own meals at home. It's giving you a life skill.
I mean, that is what it is at the end of the day. You know, some people say the culinary arts and like, okay, but I really think it's a skill more than an art. And there's some nuance and there's some feel and we all make mistakes. And the first time you walked, you fell. The first time you saute, you will burn. It's okay.
You know what? My sister, my older sister, she's one of the smartest people I know. She never cooked. She was always so afraid to cook. I would go to her house and she'd be like, "Oh, chicken! I can't touch chicken. I don't know what to do with this." And just now, she's starting to make things. And she's like in her later 40s. She's cooking these like beautiful meals for our whole family. And I'm like, I cannot believe it took you 45 years to do this. But she's doing it and she's loving it. And she's like, there's something very satisfactory about starting a project and seeing it from start to finish.
It is. It's zen. It can be meditative.
Yes.
And I know
It's delicious.
I've been poo-pooing on short form, but short form has also, I think, elevated.
What exactly is short form, though?
A TikTok, Instagram.
So just like a 30-second blip?
But, you know, seeing a really great plating that you see on there, even if you don't make it, I think it just elevated everyone's standards. It probably made everyone order a little better in restaurants, maybe try something, take a little more risk in a kitchen. But I don't think it's a deep dive. It's like the difference of taking a semester of a course versus like reading a Wikipedia page on it, I think.
That's true.
But the Wikipedia page might pique your interest to take the full course.
Yes.
That's TikTok might pique your interest to watching long-form TV.
It's
See
like a
what I'm saying?
gateway.
Yes, exactly.
If you weren't doing food media,
Yeah.
what would you be doing?
I like
the
media.
musician?
You know, I listen to a lot of people play music, and so many of them are way better than me.
Yeah.
And then the ones that aren't technically better than me write way better songs than I do. And I'm just like, I think I probably would have fallen behind there. So I'm glad I didn't choose that path. But I do love being in media, and I've been on both sides. I've been behind the camera as well. I was a video editor, and I was a sound recordist for a while.
You're made
and,
for the spotlight, Frankie.
Well, it's fun being on this side of it.
Yeah.
But also doing the other side, I think really gives me a great ability to work with the team because I am looking at it from their perspective and everything. And, you know, it's not for me to say whether or not I have an ego, but pretty quickly the team behind the camera realizes that they can tell me anything. Like if my energy has dropped and like Anne, the director, will be like, Frankie, up a little bit. And that's usually after lunch because like, and I appreciate that because ultimately I want to be excited. I have to do it for 12 hours. You know, the end user sees a little bit of it. But ultimately, my job is to make them feel comfortable in the kitchen. And it isn't about me. It's about me trying to give them the confidence to go do something at all levels. Because
You're moldable. Got it.
I represent the 15 people behind the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for them to look good, they need to tell me if I'm fallen because I ate too much pizza and my stomach is digesting and now I don't have the energy.
Oh, my God. You're so funny. What is next for Frankie Celenza outside of Let Frankie Cook?
My book just came out, which is super cool. Eat. Easy, affordable, tasty. Can you believe Eat didn't exist as a book? Now this show is launching
Now it does.
in conjunction with meal kits from Blue Apron that I worked on with the chefs over there, which is super cool. And I think season 2 is the next thing. But that's been plenty for 2025, to be honest.
Yeah, you have a full plate,
I think
right?
so.
As we
I
say.
think so.
Well, Frankie, thank you so much for coming in studio tonight.
It's such a pleasure to be here, and I hope you cook some delicious stuff.
I think I will.
And if you're not feeling inspired in the kitchen,
I'm not.
Take the time to just allow yourself to be inspired again. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe a little travel will help inspire me.
It does. That works well.
That's true. Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. Tune in next week when I'm joined by Austrian-born European master chef Christian J. Fisher. I connected with Christian recently when I was a guest on his podcast called The Disruptive Chef. I find Chef Christian to be incredibly insightful when it comes to leadership and motivating employees in the hospitality world, and a lot of our values are very aligned. He has a very diverse culinary career, and we're going to dive deeper into that when he's on the show. Tonight's show was episode 49, which means we're nearing the end of season 1 of Culinary Confidential, and what a fun year it has been. Season 2 will air September 28th, and I have a great show lined up with Handshake Speakeasy out of Mexico City, which was voted best bar in the world. So that's going to be pretty cool. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at my handle, Culinary Confidential Christina, to stay up to date with who's coming on the show week after week, restaurant recs, and much more. But that is the show for tonight. Thanks for listening and have a great night.
The preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.